G'day guys and welcome back to AdosTheGreat YouTube channel. So guys, in today's video, as we always do, I will be going over how I went in round 11 and then I'll be giving you my round 12 tips and predictions. So, starting things off, Storm versus Broncos. Back to Storm in this one. I know there was a few people going against Storm because of how poor they've been over the last few weeks. But I thought Storm would get the job done. They've got a really good record against the Broncos and a good record at Suncorp Stadium. I backed Storm. They got the job done. Good tip there. Next up, I took the Warriors to beat the Bulldogs. Another game that some people were tipping the Dogs in this one, mainly for the fact it was at a core stadium. Look, I always thought the Warriors would win this one. I was pretty confident in it last week. The Bulldogs, for one, just have too many injuries, and the Warriors are looking very, very good this year. So I thought the Warriors would get the job done and get it done relatively well. Like, I didn't think it would be a 13 plus result, but I think 12 was where I was sort of at last week. So yeah, very good tip for me. I'll take that one. Another correct tip. We then saw Panthers absolutely dominate the Roosters. I loved this. Now, I did tip the Panthers 1-12. I didn't think this would be a blowout, but credit to the Panthers, man. They put the foot down and absolutely killed the Roosters. So very good win there and a great tip for me. All right, next up, I took the Rabbitohs 13 plus over the Tigers. Now, I wasn't that confident about this game because the Tigers are our bogey team. So while I did tip the Rabbitohs 13 plus, I was still, a bit concerned that the Tigers might get an upset here. A 3 o'clock game on a Saturday, very great game to watch. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Credit to the Tigers, they had us 8 points to nil with we had them 8 points to nil with about 8 minutes to go, and I thought, you know what, the Tigers might they might get a late try here, but we ran away with it. Look, I was confident we'd get the job done, but man, they made it hard. They made it hard. All right, next up, Cowboys over the Dragons. I took this tip, got it right. Cowboys won this one by 20. I took them by 18, only 2 points away. Far out, I would have loved to have gotten that margin right. But yeah, unfortunately, wasn't a B, but good win there for the Cowboys. Next up, I took the Raiders to beat the Eels, and we got that one right as well. Look, I thought the Raiders had come out and put a number on the Eels. I didn't think they'd win by 13 plus, and they didn't. I did take the Raiders 1-12. But without Mitch Moses, I just thought the Raiders would be too strong here, and we got that one right. All right, next one we've got, I took the bloody Titans to beat the Knights. Now, normally I tip teams that are coming off a bye because we see it a lot. Teams that come off the bye tend to play really well, and they just, I don't know. Look, the Titans are a great attacking team. They are. I personally think when they're on, they're one of the best attacking teams in the comp. It's their defense that just lets them down way too much. Credit to the Knights, man. They came out to play. Bradman Best with his new tattoo looked outstanding. So that was a bad tip. That was a bad tip by me. Next up, I took the bloody Seagulls to beat the Sharks. The Sharks were in control of this one. I think they were up 20 points to nil at one point. Then the Seagulls got that 2-point penalty goal just on half time. Two late tries in the second half, and I thought Manly might cause an upset, but it wasn't to be. Sharkies got up, and credit to them. That Sunday buggered up my perfect round. I was 6 from 6 up until Sunday. And then, we won't talk about that. All right, I'm still pretty happy with 6 out of 8. Definitely a week I should have probably gotten a perfect round, but we move on. It is what it is. All right, I will say before we get too far into this video is probably going to get uploaded on Monday evening. So team lists and all that haven't been announced yet. So there's just a little bit of a roadblock for me uploading Tuesday this week. They will go back to Tuesday uploads probably next week. But this week I'm just not able to upload on the Tuesday. So we are uploading on Monday night this time. It'll probably be up by about 7 o'clock. Hopefully before then, but we'll see what happens. All right, so Broncos and Panthers to start off Thursday night footy. Look, I think Panthers win this, and I do think they win it quite well. It's very unlikely that Adam Reynolds is going to play. I know it's at Suncorp, but I like the Panthers in this one. I really do. Broncos have a pretty good head-to-head against the Panthers, to be honest. They beat them once this year. Pretty even on the ladder, to be honest, as well. Three wins, 2 losses in their last 5 games. Oh my god, it's tough. It is tough. Look, Reynolds not playing makes me lean towards the Panthers there, and I am going to tip the Panthers. I'm going to tip them 1-12, but I'll say the same thing I said about the Roosters. If the Broncos don't turn up in this game, Panthers could win this 13 plus. So I am going to back the Panthers 1-12. Not all that confident in it because the Broncos, they could pose a threat here, but I think the Panthers will be way too good. Next game, we've got the Dragons and the Roosters. Look, if this Dragons team looked a little bit better, I'd probably go the upset here, but I just can't. I can't tip the Dragons in this one. I think the Roosters will absolutely run rings around them. I don't see the Dragons competing at all in this one. I think Roosters win this 13 plus. Next up, we've got the Rabbitohs and the Eels. Look, if 90% aren't tipping the Rabbitohs, you're crazy. Yep, 94%. We're on a 6-game win streak. We weren't great against the Tigers. I'll be the first to admit that. Like, the Tigers were tough. They were resilient, but we weren't great in that game. There's a lot of things we need to fix coming into this week, but I generally do think the Rabbitohs get a good win in this one. If it's not 13 plus, I think it will be about that 10-12 margin. So I am going to tip them 1-12. I think it'll be on, as I said, on the higher end of a 1-12 win, but we will definitely get up for this game. We're a proud Indigenous heritage-based team. A lot of the team are Aboriginal players, so they are going to step up for this game. I expect massive games from the likes of Latrell, Cody Walker, players like that. I really think they're going to stand up in this game. And if we do and everything clicks, then we will absolutely destroy the Eels. But I am going to pick the safe tip here and back them 1-12. But I do think that this could get ugly for Parramatta. All right, next up, we got the Sharkies against the Knights. Knights had a good win over the Titans last week, but I just think the Sharks at home are going to be too good. I don't think it'll be a 13 plus win, but I am backing the Sharks in that one, 1-12. Next up, we've got the Tigers and the Cowboys. I believe this is the Tigers' final game at Leichhardt. Correct me if I'm wrong there, but I do think this is their last game there. So I am going to tip the upset in this one. I'm going to back the Tigers 1-12. I think they get the job done here. I really do. I think they win. Also, I buggered that up. Back onto this one. I'm pretty sure I said Storm are good at Suncorp. That was my bad. I didn't mean. I meant Storm have a good record against the Broncos, not at Suncorp. That was on me. I just had a thought about that. And they do have a good record at Suncorp, but that's not what I was talking about. So sorry about that. It just clicked in my head. But yeah, I think Tigers 1-12 over the Cowboys here. I do think they get the job done. I'm backing the upset. I'm backing Alex Twaliger to try. I know we're likely to see Jason Taumalolo come back in this one. And you know what? The Cowboys realistically should win this. But I think the Tigers are going to get up for this one. I really do. Really do think the Tigers get up here. So pretty confident in backing the Tigers there in that one. All right, next up, we've got the Dolphins against the Storm. This is a tough one to tip. It really is. And I know Storm are at 64% here, and I probably should tip them. But it's tougher than it seems. The Dolphins, apparently they're getting a few players back like Mark Nichols and a few others as well. If Valence Tafade plays, I think he's going to be outstanding for them. Damn, I don't know. Everything sort of points to a Storm win here, but I'm not confident. I'm not confident in Storm winning this one. Every time I tip against the Dolphins, they win, but I'm going to back Storm. I think the confidence they're going to get from that win over the Broncos is probably going to get them over the line in this one. Plus, the spine of the Dolphins isn't like, it's not the same as the Storm spine. Like, you know, you got Hammer, but then the halves just aren't there for me, especially when you're coming up against Cam Munster and Jerome Hughes. I think Storm win this one. I don't think it'll be a big win, but I do think Storm win 1-12 in that one. Titans bounce back win here for me over the Bulldogs. I know it's in New South Wales, at least I think it's in New South Wales, but the Titans are going to really want to win this game. And the Bulldogs, they're not looking great. They lost to the Warriors at home, and I can't see them beating the Titans. I really can't. I think the Titans are a quality side. They're going to be stinging after that loss to the Knights. So I do think they get a win here. I really do. Tipping the Titans 1-12. And finally, Raiders over Manly. I'm going to say by 10 points. I don't think it'll be a big margin, but the Raiders are playing good footy at the moment. I think they've won 5 in a row, or 6 maybe. I'm pretty sure it's 5. Manly have a better record against the Raiders, but I think the Raiders win this. I really do. I think we're going to see big performances from likes of Corey Horsburgh. I think Jack Whiten is playing really well at the moment. I think that continues, especially being Indigenous Round. Another player that I think will really have a big game is Hudson Young, especially with Origin around the corner. I think Raiders win this one. I really do. No 13+ wins for me this weekend, so that's a bit of a bold pick there. But yeah, let's go over it. So Panthers over the Broncos 1-12, Roosters 1-12 over the Dragons, Rabbitohs 1-12 over. Actually, no, I'm going to have 13+. So Panthers, Broncos 1-12, Roosters over the Dragons 13+. I do think the Roosters win this comfortably. The Dragons are just in all sorts at the moment. I don't know what's going to happen with them. I know the Roosters aren't playing well either, but I think they beat this Dragons side. I really do. So I'm going to back them 13+, my only 13+ of the weekend. Rabbitohs 1-12 over the Eels. Sharks 1-12 over the Knights. Tigers 1-12 over the Cowboys. Storm 1-12 over the Dolphins. Titans 1-12 over the Doggies. And Raiders 1-12 over Manly. Let me know who you're tipping down below in the comments, guys. Thank you all so much once again. And as always, my friends, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.